Hello and welcome to this channel. My name is Henrik and today I'm going to show you how you change your rear bumper on your BMW 4 Series, but it can also work on a BMW 3 Series F30. So I did this change from a regular standard bumper into an M Sport bumper, but this will be the same process if you want to have an M4 look bumper or M3 look bumper, or it could be that you just want to remove the bumper to change out the diffuser, or otherwise a locked up PDC sensor or something like that is fallen behind the bumper. But without further ado, let's get into what you need. So it's fairly easy. You need a flathead screwdriver, a Torx bit, then it's good to have a bumper rack to store your bumper so it doesn't get scratched up, and it's easier to do with the friend than single-handed, but you can do it. So let's get into the process. The first step is to go to the back of your car, open the trunk lid on each side on the car, as you see here in the picture. Just beside the taillights there's the weather stripping. That weather stripping we need to remove. On the top, also pictured here, number 1, there's a small plastic nut. You can remove that with the flathead screwdriver, or you can have a plastic pry tool and pry it out. I suggest using the flathead screwdriver, screw it out, and then you take it from the top and flip it toward yourself, and it should drop out. You can also remove the lights, as I've written here. You don't need to, but it makes it a bit easier when you're changing the bumper. There's less material to get in the way when fitting the new bumper. You do all this to get access to a Torx bolt, Torx screw that's on the top on each side in the weather stripping. You shouldn't remove it yet. I would remove this as the last bolts because they are holding the bumper to the car. So next step, let's jump into that. So now there's a ton of Torx screws you need to remove. So you can remove the wheels if you want to. It would make the whole thing a lot easier, but if you aren't able to, you don't have access to a lift or similar, then you can do it without. You need to remove the wheel arch cover, the liner towards the bumper. You should remove the 3 bolts that are holding it on, the 3 lower bolts, as you can see here in the top picture. Then once removed, you can pry it to the side and look up. There's a single screw holding on the bumper in the corner. So remove that screw and do that on both corners. Once that is done, you have a free bumper on each side, so you can actually lift the bumper on each side. But before you start removing the bumper, there's a ton of screws on the bottom part of the car, so you need to go under the car. There's 8 screws holding the cover, the lower rocker panel cover to the bumper. You need to remove that. So it's just one by one. There are 4 on each side. It could be a bit different placed than what you see in the picture here, depending on the exhaust setup you have. But it is fairly straightforward, and once removed, you should go to the 2 bolts that we started with, that are beside the taillights. Remove those, and the bumper is totally free of bolts. Once you unscrew the 2 bolts between the taillights, the bumper is free, and I would suggest that you remove the outer portions first, so the ones near the wheel. Click those out of the brackets first on each side, and then lift towards yourself when you stand behind the car. and then it's ideally to have a friend to help you remove the bumper so you don't scratch it up. It's fairly flexible, so once you have it off the car, it's a bit wiggly, but it is doable on your own. I did it myself, so can you. Once you have the bumper off the car, you have to remember that some cars have parking sensors and other means, and they are clicked into the bumper. So if you have parking sensors on the rear of the car, you can't just tuck the bumper away. You have to just lay the bumper on a bumper rack, or have a friend hold the bumper while you unclick the PDC sensors. The PDC sensors has a wire going to each sensor, and you have to click it off. They are not always easy to click off because they have been exposed to weather, and they can be stuck on quite well, but you should be able to unplug them. And once you've unplugged them, you can remove the bumper and you can place on the new bumper. I did this to change out a stock bumper for an M Sport bumper, and I also fitted the 440i exhaust or exhaust look, and changed up the diffuser for the M Performance one. As you see in the pictures here, I test fitted the bumper on the car before removing it and fitting it for the final version. I did this to check out the fitment. I fitted an aftermarket bumper. Aftermarket bumpers are not always the best fitment, so I would suggest if you go with an aftermarket brand, test fit it on the car like I have done here. See, does it sit nice? Does it sit flush? If it does, you can send it to paint. It's a lot harder to file a claim on the product for bad fitment once the product has been painted and changed. It's a lot easier when it's primed as shown in the picture and you haven't done anything than just test fit it on the car. But other than that, that's fairly straightforward to do. You should be able to do it within half an hour to an hour. And the process for fitting the bumper is exactly the same. I would start in the center and then work my way around. And then it's just, in the opposite process. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any suggestions for the next video, please let me know. Thanks again for watching. Take care.